Hi, last week I watched The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, Wes Anderson's screen version of the Roald Dahl short story. It's an unusual production in that it's effectively the shortest feature film I've ever seen. The lower bound for feature films, as set by the American Film Institute, the British Film Institute, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which holds the Oscars, and the BAFTAs, is 40 minutes, and this film is 41. Um, Another benchmark I used is that the shortest Laurel and Hardy feature was 42 minutes, but their longest short was 35, and that's defined by how it was actually released as part of an overall program. So this is a feature film, albeit a very short one. It's based on Dahl's story about a man called Sugar who is independently wealthy and a gambler, but one day stumbles across the story of a man who learned to see without using his eyes, who trained himself through meditation to be able to see through objects. Henry learns that skill himself so that he can cheat at gambling, but discovers now that winning comes so easily after years of study, he doesn't care anymore, and his mind has been expanded beyond the bounds of simple self interest, so he tries to find a way to use his skills to improve the world. It's narrated by Ray Fiennes in character as Dahl and stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Sugar, and both narrate to the camera. The film has a very storybook style, rather reminiscent of Jack and Ori, where the camera pans from set to set and stagehands step on to change costumes or to hand in props. It's very much in the Anderson storybook style and contrasts this um, fantastical, almost childlike um, doll's house view of the world with quite dark story material. I enjoyed it a great deal. I think it was a really unusual and interesting way of telling this story. Um, and I was particularly impressed by the way it's delivered. Much of the story is simply narrated to camera by the characters, delivering Dahl's prose at a rapid fire machine gun pace, really absolutely steaming through the narrative. Um, there are strong performances throughout. Most of the actors play more than one character. So Cumberbatch also plays a surgeon, I think, or another stagehand. Fiennes plays Dahl and a police officer. Richard Ayoade plays a doctor and a guru. Dev Patel and Ben Kingsley also appear. Um, but I liked it very much. It's an unusual way of telling the story. I think it's rather different from, say, Tales from the Unexpected or Tales of the Unexpected, the best known screen version of Dahl's more adult short stories rather than his children's novels. And I think it worked extremely well. This is part of a series of short films, although, as I said, this is technically a feature, with the other three shorts The Swan, Poison, and The Ratcatcher, all featuring the same actors, sometimes featuring, sometimes not. Fiennes appears in all of them in multiple roles. Those films are all run under 20 minutes, and so definitely count as short films. And they can be watched all of a piece. They could have been bundled together as an anthology feature running about an hour and 40 minutes, but watched as what we have here, simply a feature and a subsequent series. I think Anderson's adaptations of Dahl's stories work exceptionally well. His visual style and mode of storytelling is very suited, I think, to the material, and that mixture of light and dark, I think, works in concert with Anderson's own interest. I had to defend his work recently, and I noted that you can see on the one hand that Life Aquatic has a very fantastical setup and a very seemingly family friendly um, tone to it with cutaway sets and stop motion creatures and things like this. But it's also the story of a man who has a vague sense of revenge towards the killer of his best friend, and a developing relationship with the man who may or may not be his son. So it works on these multiple levels of light and dark, and Dahl's work is suited to it as well. I recommend this very highly. It would work perfectly well as a companion piece with Anderson's properly full-length feature earlier this year, Asteroid City. But even standing on its own as a single 41-minute piece, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is one of the better films I've seen this year.